Superstreamer said, "Good FYI." real Izzy said, "Let's eat." The real Izzy said, "What's up, man?" What's up, Lizzie? Cam said, "What's up, Lizzie?" Cam said, "Oh my goodness." Cam said, "Oh my goodness." Cam said, "Welcome, welcome." Cam said, "Welcome, welcome." Cam said, "I have to get something out of the car real quick, gotta give me some time, please." Cam said, "I have to get something out of the car real quick, gotta give me some time, please." "Thank you for joining me today." Cam said, "Let us go." Cam said, "The real Lizzie, thank you for joining me today." Cam said, "Let us go."
Feeling my way through the darkness, guided by your beat.
to the fallen, leave me to be with the broken one last time before I go.
I believe we have a visitor.
Last burning ember letters.
Let's go there.
Rise up to the call for the glory and the fall.
Oh, what's the deal? What's the deal? Welcome to the Kam'S Show Live. Your host, Cam. Welcome. Thank you to see you, Cam Nation, up in here as usual. Welcome you all. Thank you so very much for popping your heads in. Do appreciate it. Thank you. Welcome my guardians and Vince. Who else? And of course everybody else here. But one, I'd like to give a shout out. Oh, if she's still in here, I don't know. The real Lizzie, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you very, very much. Try clicking on the VIP. Out of all this right here. You do all of that just to get to that? Maybe make it easier. Maybe it's just. There we go. That's how we do that. Oh no. I'll find it. I'll find the button. Everything else. Alright. Let me see. Is it right here? I can't even finish. There we go. I do it. I fix it. Just want to make sure y'all here. Mm-hmm.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't you. Is it good, my good show?
Among Us had.
Oh, there you go, boo boo. Oh wow, they got overlay that area. Wow. My son was showing me. Went to go hang out with grandma a little bit. And went shopping. Dude, I have a really. I'm hoping. look. This is how you would know. Yesterday was strange for me. Yesterday, I was trying to hit Platinum 3, right? And I hit Platinum 3, went back to Platinum 2. Hit Platinum 3, went back to Platinum 2, and then stayed at Platinum 2. I was really. You only knew what is going on with you. So I really enjoyed the what's the real word for it? The mayhem that it took to stay at Platinum 2. Basically was good. I ain't not even drinking fun. I'm serious. That was the most intense I could think of. I didn't really want to go that far. I didn't want to got to take. I thought it'd be easy. I was grateful for it, but I'm sorry. I got my butt handed to me, and all we did is play team deathmatch because I refuse to play with my family members that are freaking diamonds. I'm not gonna do that. And the game I'm talking about is Halo Infinite. I'm telling you, I'm not gonna play with them, dude. I don't feel like being sweaty on top of sweaty Like I have to be in sweaty mode. You know what's funny? When I'm in my rank and I'm seeing my name at the top, you know what I'm saying? It feels good to be sweaty then, you know? But when you're sweaty against other sweaties on top of sweaties, it just gets real sweaty. It just gets really wet. And I don't really want to get, I want to be, and when it gets that sweaty, you start slipping and shit. I know you're wondering, what the hell am I talking about? I got you. It's just an idea on how sweaty Halo Infinite could be with a room of diamonds and Onyx people. Okay, that's it. That's basically all it is. I'm a Platinum 3. I'm in the halfway of the Platinum. Not in that area yet. Not area yet. Okay. Tonight, though, I do have a good show for you. Do have a good show. We're gonna act look kind of crazy tonight, and it's a little bit unpredictable because my shows are a little bit unpredictable. Period. I have an idea what game I'm playing. Every time I play, every time I stream, I have a good idea of what game I'm playing. I don't have that problem of deciding what game to play. Unless it's a new game, we have a handful of games we deal with. About 15 games now we deal with. No more than that. Unless it's a brand new game, which is Rainbow Six Extraction, which comes out next week. Which is, I think, is on Wednesday, I believe. I believe it's Wednesday. And that's what we're trying. We're gonna try it out. If the game sucks, I'm done with it. I'm not gonna even last. It's not gonna last that long. It's gonna be like right then and there. The game sucks. I'm done. I mean, play it. Jump back on my Halo. Look, I got Halo. Look, let me just go down a list of games that we know for a fact we will be playing on the stream of 2022. Okay, Elden Ring is one of them. Okay, Elden Ring is definitely one of the damn games we're playing. That is what I'm looking forward to. Elden Ring is the game I'm looking forward to. God of War, Ragnarok. God of War Ragnarok? Yes. Looking forward to that game. Straight up, I'm telling you, when I saw it, oh, yes. That's the only reason why I'm playing. The only reason why. It would be one of those games you sit there going, do we need to get to that? Or do we need to do something else? Huh. Here we play. You know what I'm saying? It makes it interesting. There's another game I know we're going to play. That is freaking, what's the name of the game? And it's so sad. Forbidden West. Horizon Forbidden West is another one. And these games that I'm naming, the last two games are actually PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 games. Since there is a shortage in the chip, okay, the shortage in the chip right now, they're not going to be releasing that many PS5s because they can't only get their hands on it because those chips, those graphic chips, whatever, the graphics chips, they're very, very scarce. Please turn that down. Do not start. And that's what's going on right now. So there is a level of trying to find out exactly what they're going to do with that. I hope they find a way to make it possible. It'd be really nice, but we shall see. What are you doing, baby? What are you doing? Stop. We'll go from there. See how they do. There's what's the game at? There's another game I just can't think of right now.
Fusion Plays said, "Sup."
Fusion Play, how you doing? What's going on, man? So many things, right? Man, I don't even know what to say really, because I've been looking at stuff on YouTube, and I really do question some things. I just question YouTube. There's so much stuff. Oh yeah, and I got a chance to hit up Gal Level. Gal Level was pretty cool. On Friday, I was jumping in to do a channel review, and I wanted to do my channel on my channel, and my butt was at work, and I had a client, and the client. I'm glad the client was a real client. It was a real client. It was money. That was literally a client. So it wasn't a waste. I got. Now if you would have wasted my time and I still couldn't get in, and I'd have been really pissed off. I would have probably cussed that. You stopped me from getting into my channel thing, and you wasted my time. No. Yeah, I kind of would have. I think I know I am. I know I would. That's just me. Sorry. I just don't like people wasting my time. If you're gonna waste my time, at least tell me you're not interested. That's just how I like it. Just tell me you're not interested, and we go from there. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with that. I'm cool with everybody saying what they do. Brian, what happened to your? What happened, Brian? Brian? What happened? Why is his name? Why are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you? What's wrong? Wasn't a month. I think what happens was when I pressed the roll. Yeah, I messed up something. Then I just missed. I did that. It's my fault. I fell on. I was like, what the heck? How did I do that? But it's okay. And, oh, there we go. Boom. That's how we do that. That's how we do that. Now I know how to do it. Like, what the heck am I doing wrong here? No, it was Monday, man. Alright, let's go back to the real. There we go. Stop. Oh, yeah. Boom. That's how we do that. I remember that. It's been so long since I've done that. Yeah, that was my fault. I accidentally did that on that. My bad. I was not trying to do that. It was I was trying to assign something and okay. I'm just gonna admit it. Okay. My eyesight is good as long as there's not weird light in front of me. Like my light, that's pretty much. I remember my eye because it's hard to see the name on the third monitor.
The real Izzy said, "How you doing, brother?"
Doing good. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, sis. Doing real good. Looking for. Wait.
The real Izzy said, "Nice to see you, man." The real Izzy
cool.
said, "What you up to tonight?"
I hate that thing. It just changes everybody's voice. It changes everybody's voice. We're gonna play some Halo Infinite tonight on Xbox, and we're gonna talk about some stuff. Let's talk about those few things here and there, and that's get a game on.
The real Izzy said, "Who getting squirty on Halo?"
Yes. I've been watching Mr. Ballin. Have y'all ever heard of Mr. Ballin? I watch his disturbing storytelling videos. I'm gonna click on one. I'm just gonna click on one so you know I can understand what I'm talking about. This is what
Today I'm
This is what I watch before I go to work now. This is weird. I know you're like, what? Yes, I've been watching this before I go to work now. Don't ask. Don't ask. This is what I've been watching every day morning when I go to work, or if I'm just bored before a meeting. Seriously, this is what I've been watching.
I'm going to share with you 3 progressively
This
more
is like
disturbing
19
stories. And at the
minutes
end of
long.
Each of them, I'm going
We're
to
not
share
gonna watch
with
this
you
whole
the video that is famously associated with them. But before I get into today's stories, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format,
Let's get to
today's stories.
Alright. Mr. Baller just literally shows the most bizarre. You can never think of. I'm gonna tell the story.
In June of 2015, 30-year-old mother of 2, Lisa Mackenzie, lived in what she called a safe neighborhood in Bridgend, Wales. One day when she was cleaning up her kids' toys in her backyard, she noticed something strange about her back door. She thought maybe one of her kids had taken paint and slapped it across the back door, or perhaps it was even mud. But then when she walked up to the door itself, she could tell that there were 2 very deep gouges in the door right next to the locking mechanism. Also, the key portion of the lock had loads of scratches all over it. Initially, she thought maybe these have been here the whole time and I just haven't noticed them until right now. But when she looked at the 2 gouge marks in the door, they looked fresh. Since she did not own a dog and didn't know of any other dogs in the area that might come into her property that could have scratched up the door, she figures, okay, it's gotta be my kids. So she calls her kids outside and she points at the marks on the door, and the kids swear they didn't do it, and they say, I don't remember ever seeing that, that's new. At this point, Lisa has this sinking feeling that someone must have tried to break into our house, but she doesn't want to scare her kids, so she tells them to go back in the house. They go inside and she's standing in front of the door and she's just looking at the marks thinking like, what do I do? And she notices in the bushes right next to the door, there's something silver sitting in the bush. She bent down and picked up a wire that she immediately recognized as a windshield wiper insert, because she had recently had to replace her windshield wipers because one of the inserts was missing. She also noticed this wire that was very rigid had been bent up at the end like a hook. And it was at this point that Lisa went from maybe someone's trying to break in to definitely someone just tried to break in. They're using the wire from my windshield to try to defeat the lock. Lisa didn't make much money, but with the money she did have, she went out and got the most expensive, sophisticated surveillance camera that she could put on the back of her house to monitor that back door. And in addition to the camera, starting that night, Lisa began compulsively checking every door, every lock, every window, everything that could secure the house. She would check 3, 4, 5 times before going to bed every single night. And then the next morning, she would get up and she would review the footage from the night before. And for the next several weeks, no one tried to break into her house. There was no suspicious activity recorded on the camera. Everything was normal. Until Monday, July 13th, when she woke up and noticed her back gate, not her door, but the gate leading into her yard, was slightly open. Now, because she was obsessively checking every door, every window, every lock, that included that gate, meaning the night before, she had triple checked that that gate was shut and locked. So for it to be open right now meant something had happened the night before. And so without even going outside, she goes right to her security camera footage, and she would say that what she saw made her physically ill. Earlier that morning at 1:15 a.m., an unknown man wearing a rain jacket and gloves walks up to the back of their house and puts his hands and his face right up against the window and starts looking in the window. And then he steps back, pulls a flashlight out, and starts looking in the kitchen with his flashlight, just brazenly looking in the house. And at some point, he puts the flashlight down and looks up and clearly notices the camera that she has installed. He looks at it for a minute and then just kind of shrugs and goes right back to shining his light into the kitchen before going around to the door itself and trying the door and fidgeting with the door to open it. It was locked. He goes to the window, he tries to open the window, it's locked, and he would make his way down the side of the house trying to open all of the windows until walking around to the back side of the house where there wasn't the camera. And then when he couldn't open any of the windows or doors because Lisa was diligent about locking everything, he must have just given up and left. Lisa's horrified. She gets in touch with police. She shows them the footage, but unfortunately, his face was kind of obscured in the video, and so they were never able to identify him. Here are the highlights from Lisa's security footage.
Whoa. What the heck?
On September 8th, 2017, 19-year-old Kanika Jenkins, along with her three
Okay.
friends, were driving to the Crown Plaza
The real
Hotel in
Izzy
Chicago,
said,
Illinois. It was a Friday
"Agreed
night, and the
law."
girls had been invited to a big birthday party on the 9th floor of the hotel. They arrived at the hotel around 11 p.m., and by the time they got up to room 926, the room was packed with their friends, the music was loud, and the drinks were flowing. A few hours into the party, a witness would tell police that when they went up to give Kanika a hug, she could barely stand, she was so intoxicated. Another witness said when everybody was up, dancing and having a great time, Kanika was sitting on the side of the room, apparently too drunk to even stand up. At about 3 a.m., Kanika and the three friends she had showed up with decided it was time to leave the party and head home. So they make their way into the hall, security cameras would pick them up in the hall, they go down to the lobby, and that's when Kanika realizes she doesn't have her car keys or her phone. Her friends, who were not nearly as intoxicated as Kanika, told her to stay in the lobby. They would go back up to the hotel room and look for her things. Her friends go back upstairs, they search the room for a few minutes, and they finally find her purse that had her cell phone and her keys in it. They go back down to the lobby, and Kanika's not
The real
there. Now
Izzy
they assumed she
said,
must have already left
"I
the hotel
heard
and was
this
waiting in the car
story."
for them.
The
But
real
when they got
Izzy
to the car,
said,
she wasn't there.
"So
So
far."
they all pile into the car and they call Kanika's mother and they say, "Hey, we just left this party and I think everything's fine, but we can't find Kanika and we have her phone and we have her keys." And they explained that they had left the party and she'd lost them and that she was down in the lobby and now she wasn't here anymore. And Kanika's mom wanted to know, were you guys drinking? And it was clear the friends were a little bit cagey about it. And they said, "Oh no, maybe a drink or two, but I'm sure she's fine. Everything's just fine." And Kanika's mom just felt like there's something off here. It's the middle of the night. You don't know where my daughter is. And so she said she was coming to the hotel and she was going to find Kanika. Kanika's mom arrives at the hotel around 5 a.m. And the first thing she does is she goes in and talks to the front desk manager and says, "Hey, my daughter was here. They were having a party up on the 9th floor and her friends can't find her. I'm sure she's fine, but would you mind using the security footage to show us where she went? Because we don't know if she left the hotel or if she's still here. Would you mind showing us the footage?" And the hotel was totally unhelpful. They were like, "Well, we can't show it to you unless there's an official missing person report." Which, by the way, is a complete fabrication. That's not true. They could have showed it to her, they just didn't want to. And so they told her, "Sorry, you're gonna have to file a missing person report." And so obviously Kanika's mother is very frustrated and she just wants to find her daughter. So she leaves the hotel and she calls police. And she asks them, "Can you please come down to this hotel and get them to show us the security footage because we can't find my daughter?" The police were willing to help, but they viewed this as, your daughter was at a party, she's probably with her friends somewhere, she's bound to show up, she probably went to another room, and they advised her that she should just wait a couple of hours, see if your daughter turns up, and if she doesn't, call us back. Kanika's mom is now doubly frustrated that there's no one who's going to help her, and so she decides that she's going to search for her daughter on her own.
So
she goes back into the hotel, and she goes up to the 9th floor, and she begins going room to room, knocking on every single door, and seeing if Kanika is inside, or if anybody knows anything about Kanika. And so for hours, her mom goes room by room, floor by floor, and is getting nowhere, until at 1:15 p.m., this is now 10 hours after Kanika left the party and vanished, the hotel finds out Kanika's mom is going door to door, and they call the police on her and say she needs to leave. She's trespassing now. Police show up to deal with Kanika's mother, who sees the police and says, "Can you please just ask them to show you the security footage? My daughter's been missing for 10 hours now. I have her phone. I can't get in touch with her." And the police say, "Okay, fine." They go to the front desk. They say, "Show us the security footage." They show them the footage, but it's just the exits of the hotel. And they see Kanika going inside, but they don't see anybody leaving. And I guess that was enough for the police and the hotel. And they said, "Hey, we did our job. She apparently is still in the hotel somewhere, but we can't help you anymore." And no one looked any more at the footage. And so Kanika's mom is once again now not even allowed to be in the hotel, and no one's reviewing the footage. And so she's got nothing she can do. Police would go back though that night at 10 p.m., so 17 hours after Kanika has gone missing, to review the footage again. And they start sifting through other footage beyond just the exits, and they discover Kanika stumbling through the hotel at 3:20 in the morning. She leaves the lobby and makes her way downstairs to the basement. She walks down the hall and can barely stand, and she goes into the kitchen. And then when she's in the kitchen, she kind of stumbles through the kitchen and then vanishes out of sight. When the police are not able to see Kanika on any other camera after she goes into the kitchen, they decide to just go down to the kitchen and look for her in there. And so at 12:48 a.m., a.m.
Wasn't she
on
locked
Sunday
in
now, this is almost
inside of
24 hours after she's gone missing, they discover Kanika. She had stumbled into a walk-in freezer that was left open for
Yeah, I
reasons we don't
remember
know, and then once inside, she'd accidentally shut
Closed
the
the
door,
door.
but she was too
remember
drunk
that.
to open it up again, and she froze to death.
Yes,
Although Kanika's
I
death
remember
was
that.
ultimately ruled an accident, one could make the case that had the hotel allowed Kanika's mother to review the footage just
She
2
would've
hours
probably-
after Kanika went
she would've
missing,
probably
perhaps
lived right
she
now.
would have found the footage that led them to the kitchen. They could have gone down and found her before she froze to death, but we'll never know. Here is the final footage
I
of
believe that.
Kanika stumbling through the hotel before she ultimately landed in the freezer.
It is so sad. That is so sad. Man. The hell?
In the early 1970s, a man named Marshall Applewhite was fired from his music teaching job for having an inappropriate relationship with a
Yep.
male student. Shortly after, he admitted himself into a psychiatric institution where he met a nurse who worked there named Bonnie Nettles. Both had a deep interest in biblical prophecy, and Applewhite, after meeting Nettles, was convinced they had met in a previous life. Nettles agreed and took it a step further, saying extraterrestrials had come to her and preordained that she would someday meet Applewhite. The two did not have a romantic relationship at all. It was strictly platonic. They bonded over a desire to ascend to a higher level of existence and ultimately reach the kingdom of heaven. Applewhite began calling himself Bo, and Nettles became Peep, and together they would start
Bo
an
Peep?
infamous cult known as Heaven's Gate. The premise of Heaven's
Bo
Gate
Peep.
was that an alien spacecraft that they simply called the UFO was going to come to Earth and whisk away Heaven's Gate cult members, elevating them to a new world and a better life that they referred to as Tela, or the evolutionary level above human. There was a catch though. Anybody on Earth who did not get on the UFO whenever it got here would be recycled, i.e. destroyed, along with everybody else on Earth, and then at some point a new human population would grow and another UFO would come, and whoever got on that would be saved over and over and over again. That was just how it worked. And Bo and Peep were telling everyone they talked to about Heaven's Gate that we're already in end times. Apparently there were signs that this UFO is going to be here any day. And so now is the time to join the cult. And so by 1975, Bo and Peep had recruited 20 people to be a part of their cult, which meant they gave up their families, they gave up their possessions, they basically gave up everything in their life and moved to Colorado to live in total poverty as they waited for this UFO to arrive. For 10 years, cult members waited and waited for this UFO that never showed up. And Bo and Peep are aggressively reminding people that this is
The
the
real
path.
Izzy
You just gotta
said,
stay the path.
"Lol,
And
fucking
then Peep
weirdo."
unexpectedly died of cancer in 1985, which really screwed things up for the cult. In their doctrine, it was destiny that Bo and Peep would get on that UFO and make their way to Tela, the evolutionary level above human. That was their destiny. And now Peep has died on planet Earth. She did not get on the UFO. She did not ascend to Tela. She will not get to Heaven's Gate. Bo was devastated and horribly depressed, and it wasn't really clear what was going to happen to Heaven's Gate. But he composed himself and he began to tweak his messaging a little bit. Bo began telling his followers that Peep had in fact
Fusion
ascended
plays.
to Tela.
Said,
Yes,
"Say
she did
retarded."
not get on the UFO. However, the aliens must have given her a signal that if she leaves behind this human body, this
Look
mere
at his
vessel,
eyes. His
you'll
eyes
still
are so
ascend to
effed
Tela.
up.
Basically, he was preaching to them, if you just end your own life at the right moment, you can go to Tela too. But Bo didn't really know what the right moment was. He didn't know what the trigger was going to be.
MXKHCs
Until 1995, when
said,
astronomers
"Be
discovered
unrent."
the Hale-Bopp comet was going to be passing by Earth 2 years later in 1997. And Bo saw this as the trigger.
Wait.
The real Izzy said, "You." The real Izzy said, "What the?"
Wait a minute. Hey, let's go back to the guys. Hold on. Let's go back to his face. His face does it all. To me, there's no way in the heck. Okay, so wait, hold on.
Welcome.
Thank you for the follow. Thank you so much for follow. Oh my goodness. Hold on. So they
real
started
Izzy
a cult.
Said, lol, we watching in Discord, lol. The real Izzy said, LMFAOWTF.
So
CFTH Sneaky said,
so
you re-welcome lol.
what's the name? CF Sneaky. Thank you very much for the follow. Thank you. Get the Sneaky. Okay, so you started a cult. Thank you for the host as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You start a cult. Number one, you said that Bo Peep, them two, are going to heaven, which, or I'm sorry, Talia, whatever the hell it's called, Talia, or to the heaven, which is Heaven's Gate. And this is the way they're going. He says, at a certain, so since they couldn't go all together, she went before them. And now we need to find a perfect time, kill ourselves, so we can go to this faraway place, so the aliens can come get us. So the aliens don't want y'all alive, so they can make sure you're alive. Because technically, usually everybody gets abducted when they're alive. I'm just saying, this is just an understanding to all the weirdo people that actually believe that the aliens are going to come and get them specific people. Not everyone else, just them specific people. So they get them. Hold on, check this out. Hold on. They get them. They're going to be dead, though. So how are you going to go there if you're dead here? Let's just keep going. Because not having works. Whatever.
Yes, she did not get on the UFO. However, the aliens must have given her a signal
It's his
that
eyes.
if she leaves behind this human body, this mere vessel, you'll still ascend to Tella. Basically, he was preaching to them, if you just end your own life at the right moment, you can go to Tella too. But Bo didn't really know what the right moment was. He didn't know what the trigger was going to be. Until 1995, when astronomers discovered the Hale-Bopp comet was going to be passing by Earth 2 years later in 1997. And Bo saw this as the trigger. The UFO was going to be hiding behind the trail of this comet, and for sure, Peep was riding on that UFO, and as soon as it passes by Earth, we need to ascend. And so fast forward to March 26, 1997, as the Hale-Bopp comet passed by Earth, 39 of the Heaven's Gate cult members, including Bo, they began their journey. Bo told them they would be exiting the Earth in 3 groups. And so on March 26th, Group 1 entered their San Diego mansion and consumed applesauce mixed with barbiturates, followed it up with a whole bunch of vodka, and then put a bag over their head and waited for death. Then on March 27th, Group 2 entered the San Diego mansion, knowing full well what they were walking into. They all had specific jobs of how they were going to clean up the mess left from Group 1. They cleaned it up. Then they picked up the Group 1 members and placed them in beds and put a purple cloth over their face, before they, Group 2, consumed their own applesauce mixed with barbiturates and put a bag over their head and waited for death. On March 28th, the third group entered the San Diego mansion, and this included Bo, and they did the same cleanup as Group 2. They put the Group 2 deceased members in bed as well, and then they consumed applesauce and barbiturates, followed it up with vodka, bag over their head, waited for death. Bo had given special instructions to 2 of the members that were within that third group to wait until he had exited Earth and take special care to put him in a specific bed, organized a certain way, and then when they consumed their own applesauce and barbiturates followed up with vodka, they should do that in their bed because they're the last 2. There's nobody else to move them. When a former cult member stopped by the San Diego mansion to check in on the cult, they went inside not knowing what they were up to and found all 39 cult members deceased, laying in bunk beds with identical black and white Nike running shoes on their feet with purple shrouds over their bodies, and they were all wearing matching armbands that read Heaven's Gate Away Team. Just hours before they exited the Earth, each of the groups would perform exit interviews where they would record themselves talking about why they were doing this, why it was important, and what they expected on the other side. They are remarkably cheerful and happy considering what they all know they are about to do. Here are some highlights from those exit interviews.
Okay, we have Thirsody with us, and I believe that you chose the name Thirsody because you want to be reminded of your thirst for next level knowledge. Is that correct?
That's right. My vehicle's, or this vehicle that I'm wearing is, pretty nervous, pretty scared. Some may say, well, boy, it's quite a irreversible step.
This isn't a troubling circumstance. Don't take it as that. It's just a gateway, just a doorway.
Okay, thank you.
Now you're going to find this old crummy vehicle in a bunk someplace that I'll probably be watching when you check it out and observe your responses and your reaction when you look at these vehicles. And they're all nothing but containers that we've used and bored for the short amount of time.
People in the world who thought that I had completely lost my marbles. They're not right.
So that's going to do it, guys. Let me know what you thought of these 3 stories in the comments, and I will pin the best comment at the top of the comment section. If you enjoyed today's stories and you haven't done this already, please offer to make the
Oh my god! Woo! You've got to be the dumbest piece of stupidest shit. They all look like they all need to be in an asylum. Literally. They look like Lurch. Or Lurch from freaking Addams Family. What the freaking... I have no freaking clue what the fuck. I'm sorry. Excuse my French. But what the... Okay. That didn't make any dang sense. I was like, why? Hey, hold it. This is the first time I ever saw this one. I just want to watch it with y'all. That's all. Let's get back. Let's go, Titron. Let's go. Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh. You have to be a whole another type of stupid to do something like that. It will be a cold day in hell before I go out and do some stupid shit like that. Okay? It would literally be the boo-boo doo-doo of life. I literally have to say that's the dumbest thing I have ever seen in my entire life. Seriously. I want to do more of those. I hope I don't get in trouble for it. YouTube don't messing about it. They have done it before. But I'm sorry. That was amazing. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I thought that was amazing. Roman Reigns breaks character. Hold on. I could beat it. You remember, Roman doesn't. Does he? Roman Reigns? He don't break.
Take this time. Yeah. You guys, thank you for coming out. We all know what's going on globally with this pandemic. I just want y'all to just stay there. I want y'all to get safe. I want you to protect yourselves. And where we can see you next time. Awesome. Good night. Thank you.
Oh, he broke. Yeah, I'm about to say, come on, that's humane. Come on now. That makes sense for the character. That makes sense. Alright. I think it's about that time to get into the mayhem. Ridiculously amounts of carnage time. After hearing that bullcrap, after hearing that, let's kill some idiots. Let's go. I didn't know I had that much to update.